A little more than a year ago, I promised you I was never going to review another portable power station. Turns out, I lied. Hey everybody, welcome back to Cruiseman's Garage. I wanted to take a second to introduce you to the newest member of my garage, and that is the VTOMAN Jump 1800 portable power station. The reason I decided to do a review of this is because it has one feature that is very unique to the other power stations that I have reviewed in the past. Now, before I get into the video, I do want to let you know that even though VTOMAN is not sponsoring the video, they didn't pay me to make the video, they did send me this Jump 1800 to test and review. Let me tell you everything I like about this unit, and there's a couple of things I wish it had that it doesn't have, but it's probably something specific, just my needs or things I would like to see. You may be wondering, what does a portable power supply have to do with motorcycles or Cruiseman's Garage? Well, Cruiseman's Garage is the name of the channel, and it is kind of centered on what goes around here in this garage. And that means working on the bike, cleaning the bike, sometimes working on my car as well, or any other vehicles. Depending on your situation, you may have lots of different vehicles that you work on in your garage. I am always finding myself in a situation where I need to use power tools and the cords are never going to be long enough, and that necessitates the use of an extension cord, and I hate keeping up with extension cords. Not only do they take up a lot of room, I've got to unravel them, or, wind them back up, or maybe you have one of those little winder things. I don't. So it's always a hassle for me to get power where I need it. Two of the walls in my garage have no AC power. So to have something portable that can power my power tools, and I can put it anywhere I need it in the garage or in the driveway or on my patio, it's always there. If I need to power a pressure washer, or if I need to power an air dryer to dry off the motorcycle or the car after I wash it, it is just a huge convenience. It basically has eliminated the need for me to use extension cords, and that's what I like. Now, that's not a typical use for what these are used for. Most people will use these for camping. If you're out in the wilderness and you need power to power lights or microwave ovens or maybe a heater, other appliances, that's really what a lot of people use these for. If you are a tradesman and you work off-site and you need to go to a job site, maybe in a construction site where you need to power your power tools, that's another great use for this unit. But I personally use it around the garage, and if we ever have a power outage, I have a backup power supply that can power several appliances. Our power supply here in Texas is getting less and less reliable. We have power outages frequently now because so many people have moved here, and it's just put a drain on our power grid, and the politicians don't seem to want to fix it. Another way I used this just recently, about a month ago, I did a live broadcast on YouTube from this garage, and I was able to use this unit to power my computer, to power all the lights, to power all of the things necessary to perform that remote broadcast. So let's dig into more information and details on the specifics of this VTOMAN Jump 1800. The VTOMAN Jump 1800 portable power station is a 1548 watt-hour portable power station powered by a LiFePO4 battery. It has 1800 watts of continuous power and 3600 watts of peak power. Now, there are other smaller Jump units available. There's a Jump 1000, so if you don't quite need that much power, you could look at that, perhaps save a little money, and it might even be a little lighter. So if you run such items as space heaters, air conditioners, refrigerators, etc., you're probably going to want the power of the Jump 1800. Now, personally, I use this for things like an electric drill, a heat gun, maybe my random orbital polisher. I use it in the garage, the driveway, the patio, but a lot of people use these for camping or on a remote job site where you don't have AC power. Another thing to consider is this unit is expandable to double the capacity to 3,096 watt hours with the addition of an external battery. Now, one thing I've learned about LiFePO4 batteries is they're just better than lithium-ion batteries. They last 4 to 5 times longer. They just have a longer lifespan. The VTOMAN Jump 1800 comes with a few accessories. It comes with this nice carrying bag for all the accessories. There is a charging brick that will charge at 180 watts. It also has a DC cigarette style charger. There is a USB to USB-C cable and a USB-C to USB-C cable. And they include a clearly written user manual. Now, as far as inputs, there are 2 DC inputs on the front. You can connect 2 solar panels to charge the unit using that method, or you can connect the AC brick like I've got and a solar panel, or you can just use the AC brick. Now, those solar panels are available from VTOMAN. I'll put links in the description of this video for more information, or if you're interested in ordering. So what about power outputs? Well, you have a cigarette style output here, as well as 2 standard DC 10 amp outputs. The 2 USB-C outputs, each one delivering 100 watts of power, so you can completely charge your MacBook Pro without using the Apple Power Brick. There are 4 USB-A outputs, and 3 of those are 5 volt at 2.4 amp, and the one on the bottom is a USB Quick Charge 3.0. There are 3 AC outlets, and I should mention that you can use all 12 of these power outputs simultaneously. The one unique feature of the VTOMAN Jump 1800, and I think it's where it gets the name Jump 1800, is this jump starter port. They do sell an external jump starter, so if you need to use this to jumpstart your car or your motorcycle, you can do that through this port. And then, of course, the other expansion port is if you choose to add the expandable battery. Here you can see I've connected the charging brick, and the display does show you what percentage the battery is charged to. This one's almost fully charged, but it's a nice display to let you know how long it's going to take to fully charge the VTOMAN. And the VTOMAN supports pass-through charging, so you can use all of these power outputs while you're charging the battery. Now, there are cooling fans on each end of this Jump 1800 unit, and these fans will kick on automatically when you're using AC power. On the back of the unit is a built-in LED light, and this light has several different modes. It has a low power setting, a medium power setting, and a very, very bright high power setting. There's also a strobe feature and an SOS function as well, and then of course you can turn it off. Now, recently I was doing some wiring on my motorcycle, and I was using heat shrink around the wires, and I was using this heat gun to shrink the heat shrink. And on the lowest power setting for that heat gun, it's drawing about 400 watts, and you can see that would give me about 3.1 hours of use if I left that heat gun on for a full 3 hours. Now, when I turn the heat gun up to full speed, it goes all the way up over 900 watts. But even if I left it on for a full hour, I would have at least 1 hour of power. Recently, I was preparing to ceramic coat the motorcycle, and I needed to use my random orbital polisher. The VTOMAN came in clutch again because it gave me the ability to have power anywhere around the motorcycle that I needed it. Another perfect application for the VTOMAN Jump 1800. I also use this Blaster Sidekick dryer to dry off the motorcycle, and I use this out in the driveway sometimes. You can see here, it draws about 800 watts. I could use it well over an hour, which is much more than I would ever need. I released this video originally in 2024, but I have an update. As of March 2025, we had a power outage last night, and our power was out for over 8 hours. And Fortunately, the weather is not bad. It wasn't too hot or cold. And my first thought was, I need a way to make coffee. So I went out to the garage, grabbed this VTOMAN Jump 1800, plugged in the coffee pot, made my pot of coffee. That was great. Of course, we kept thinking the power was going to come back on, but it never did. And Ricky reminded me she has eye drops that have to stay frozen. So I hooked up the VTOMAN to our refrigerator, and it was able to keep the refrigerator fully powered for the rest of that 8-hour period. So when I hooked it up, you can see it only had 85% capacity, but that was enough for 5.5 hours. It actually ended up lasting more than 6.5 hours because the wattage fluctuated over the next few hours. Now, I know this hookup doesn't look pretty. I had to use a couple of power strips because I was running out of extension cables. And fortunately, I could get to the plug for our refrigerator. That was a good thing. Here you can see the wattage had dropped down to 123 watts of draw, and that was going to give me up to 8 hours, 8.3 hours. But that wattage did fluctuate throughout the day. But the good news is I still had power to spare when the power finally did come back on. And this is what the unit looked like when the power was finally restored. I still had 35% remaining of another 2.5 or 2.8 hours. And had I had a solar charging panel, I could have actually charged this unit while it was in use, but I didn't at that time. So I highly recommend that you consider one of those solar panel charging panels so that if you end up in a situation like this, you could go much, much longer, or even one of the secondary batteries that can be attached to this. Of course, anytime I have anything this powerful around the house, I'm always concerned about safety. Every VTOMAN power station has the Life BMS system, which includes 10 smart built-in safety protections. This includes overcharge protection, temperature protection, short circuit protection, overload protection, and reverse polarity protection. Those, along with 5 other protection circuits, give me the confidence that the VTOMAN is a safe unit to have around the house. To turn on the VTOMAN, you simply press any of the 3 yellow output buttons, and that will turn on the display. A subsequent press of any of these buttons will turn on the appropriate circuit, and those are shown on the display. Here you can see I have the AC, the USB, and the DC circuits all on. To turn off a circuit, you simply press the button again for the appropriate circuit. Here I'm turning off the USB, and I'll turn off the DC. If I turn off the AC circuit and no circuits are activated, the unit will eventually turn itself off. The display remains on for a few minutes. So what are the features that I wish the VTOMAN had that it does not have? And I'm pretty much nitpicking here, but I wish all of the outputs had rubber flaps like the jump starter flap so that the unit would be a little more weatherproof. It wouldn't have to be waterproof, but it'd be nice if it was splash proof. There's also that little hollowed out place underneath the handle that would be the perfect spot for a cell phone fast charger, like for a MagSafe on an iPhone. I think that'd be a cool little feature. And again, I'm really having to nitpick to find things I wish this VTOMAN had. All in all, though, I love the unit. I will keep using this in Cruiseman's garage, and I'll update you if necessary on any future developments. Hey, now if you like this video, do me a favor and give it a thumbs up. That really does help my YouTube channel. And I will see you on the next Cruiseman Fixes Stuff.